Find Nemo as a topic is today, Finding Nemo. This service is especially important and special to us as tonight I'll be dedicating this service to Courtney Johnson, our practitioner who has passed or made the transition recently. So before we go into tonight's session, as we always do, we will start with our opening treatment. And so wherever you are, wherever you're sitting, whether you're driving, wherever you are, join us in this opening treatment. And so I'm knowing that God's presence, the one source, omnipresent, everywhere. Tonight, we're knowing right action operates through and everyone at this proceedings this evening. We're knowing we're one with this one source, and we're knowing that all our questions are answered this evening. We're knowing that all our thoughts, all our prayers are received in abundance, manifesting through our lives. As we go through to this proceeding, we know you will take from it all the ideas, any teachings that come from this evening service. We know we are one with this source, and so we're one mind, out picturing. And so we're knowing this evening all is well. And so as we go through today's proceedings, I'm knowing that God operates and expresses through me tonight. And so I release this to the law of mind for action, knowing that this is so, and so it is. And so at this time, we will go into a moment of silence. And so I invite you to take a deep breath and sit still within this silence. So let's take a deep breath and open our eyes. So once again, thank you for joining us this evening. For those who have just joined us, this session is especially dedicated to Courtney Johnson, our practitioner who made the transition. He would have been taking the session today, and so I decided that it would be quite fitting to dedicate this service to him. So the topic today is Finding Nemo, the Power of Love. And, you know, when I proposed this topic, I was asked, are you sure you want to talk about Finding Nemo? And for those who may be familiar with Finding Nemo, it is, in fact, a very popular animated film. And I'd watched it several times over, not as more recently in preparation for this session, I reflected on Finding Nemo, but the topic just popped up. And the thing with Finding Nemo, there were so many themes, sub-themes that were relatable to what we teach at the temple and at the Center for Spiritual Living. And the teachings from Finding Nemo, even though it was a family movie, family-oriented movie, There were so many things that came out. And of course, the matter of the power of love. So here I'm going to just give you a short synopsis of Finding Nemo. So for those who recall, it's an animated film and it was released in 2003. And it was directed by the Andrew Stanton, who got the idea from when he was a child. He had memories as a child when he used to go to the dentist and sitting at the dentist and see the fish in the fish tank and dreamed of them being free in the ocean. So that's what's reported. But the story tells about the adventure of a clownfish called Marlin, who embarks on a journey across the sea to find his lost son, Nemo. So Marlin and his wife, Coral, who had their eggs, were their eggs that were hidden, lost their eggs after a barracuda who tried to get these eggs. Coral tried to fight the barracuda and protect her eggs. Marlin managed to get rid of the barracuda, but in the night, he discovers that Coral and his eggs are gone. And he only finds a single surviving egg with a scratch on the right side. And this egg, which becomes his fish, his son, he decides to name Nemo. So Marlin now becomes so overprotective because of this tragic incident where he lost his wife and his eggs. So he becomes very cautious about Nemo. And Nemo also has a disability, which was a small fin due to the injury at birth. So Nemo sets out for his first day of school, where his father was very, very anxious about him and orders him not to go into the open water. So anyone can recognize as a child, the first thing if you tell a child, oh, well, don't do this. That's the thing that they're going to do. So whatever you tell them not to do, they're going to do the opposite very often. And so Nemo disobeys his father's orders on the first day of school and ventures into the open water where he's captured by a diver and ends up in a fish tank in a dentist's office. So Marlin, determined to rescue his son, embarks on this adventure, trying across the ocean to find his son. And along the way, he encounters a lot of different fishes, different persons, but particularly he encounters Dory, who is a forgetful blue tang fish. And so meanwhile, Nemo now in the fish tank makes a lot of friends in this fish tank, and they call him the fish tank gang, who help him to escape. And eventually he does escape, and Marlin's quest to find Nemo, they both find each other. So how is this related to the science of mind in terms of what we teach? And so I'm going to invite, before I go into the metaphysical component of this, I'm going to invite the persons who are online with me to probably just from that synopsis, what do you think, any theme that came out beyond the power of love that you think could be relatable to what we teach at the Science of Mind? Anyone wants to volunteer or make a suggestion? Yes, go ahead, Reverend Michelle.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with faith as well, because the father is off on this adventure to find his son, and there are definite obstacles and hurdles because of the distance, but you know what? It's not stopping him. So he has faith, strong conviction.
Faith, yeah. So that faith, so we know with faith, we can do anything. We
Well,
can, yes. Thank you, Reverend Michelle.
I
Yes,
was
go
also
ahead,
thinking, I was
Sandy.
also thinking about passion and the power of
Passion.
intention. Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
passion. But would that passion be love, or was it
Well,
obsession?
passionately, well, the power with intention, going after what you want and knowing that there is something that is impelling you and that you will reach your goal.
You will reach your goal. So this
That goal
faith,
is not to be attained by all.
yes. So faith, as Reverend Michelle mentioned, and the goal that it can be obtained by all. Yes, go ahead, Sandy. Thank you, Carol. Yes.
There is so much in this story. One, that life is a wonderful adventure, and that much of the adventure happens when you climb over the barrier of fear and you allow yourself to reach into the open waters of possibility. The other thing is that in Daddy looking to find his son, that sense of knowing that the Father is always looking out for us. And that sense of wherever I go, even if I end up in a fish tank, I'm going to be fine because, the Father is there looking out for me in every circumstance.
Okay, so that's from the Father. So you overcame fear, dealt with fear. It was passion. We're knowing that the Father, the God, the love of God, the source, the law is perfect, and he would achieve his goal. Any other thoughts?
May I suggest surmounting obstacles that what looks like a barrier is not really what it is, and that, well, I guess it's going back to what I said earlier, that once you focus and have and operate with purpose and passion, there's nothing that will really defeat your intention.
So the faith, the intention, the focus on, and that's a thought, this is one of the things that we teach behind our spiritual mind treatment. Having that intention is very, very important to having it manifest. So knowing that outcome. But I would add, it was also a journey of self-discovery.
Yes.
Because as Marilyn, through the process of finding Nemo, discovered, what he could overcome fear, he's overcome these obstacles, and he also found himself. He also learned in the end that his son, even though he feared for his son, his son could cope on his own. So in his quest to find his son, he also found himself. So we could talk about spiritual growth. So as a part of, as practitioners, when we're training to become practitioners, we have to do in the first year a lot of self-discovery, self-growth to find out or understand better who we are as a part of the process of becoming a practitioner. So I think there was a journey of self-discovery as well for Marilyn as he sought to look for his son. And then, as you mentioned, facing fear, the fear of loss. He didn't let fear hold him back. He confronted his fear in order to find Nemo. And so that was part of his own personal growth and spiritual development. There was also
nothing is lost in spirit, really.
Pardon?
Nothing is lost in spirit.
Yes. And that is very true. He also had positive thinking. I think he had the power of positive thinking was here because he knew, I think there was a sense of knowing that he would find his son. So I think that was, very, very important. but he really overcame his fear. I think that was important. Also, there was another aspect is that throughout his journey looking for Nemo, he kept visualizing their reunion throughout the journey. So throughout the movie, he kept visualizing that. And that is, one of the things that we do is affirm. We know that we have already received. We know there's an abundance, everything that we need. We just need to declare it. And I think Marilyn did that in this. He kept visualizing, and we talk about our vision board and visualization techniques within the Science of Mind, and I think he used that to also help to manifest his desired outcome. So there was Dory, who helped a character who she had this condition which would cause her to be forgetful. And she was like opposite of Marilyn. And she tended to be more carefree, surrendering to life, going about life more happy-go-lucky. She met Nemo even before Marilyn had found his son. She actually found Nemo. And so they had to work together to help to find Nemo. So Marilyn, who was more the overbearing, overprotective, while Dory was carefree. And so he had to learn to trust and surrender and to work with Dory to help him to find his son. But another aspect is, how would we see this ocean out there? So as a part of the story, there was this wide ocean that he had to go. Well, he was afraid that his Nemo would have gone and gotten lost in the ocean, taken away, something would have happened with him. But when Marilyn decided to embark in the ocean, how do you think that related from a metaphysical point of view, the fact that he went into this vast ocean as a part of his journey?
The field of possibility.
Field of possibility, yes. And it could be his consciousness, yes. As he went through, his consciousness started to evolve, and he started to grow, as we mentioned earlier, spiritually. But as he went along, he also met different persons throughout the journey. Other fish, sharks. He met some sharks who vowed not to eat fishes, and helped him along the way. But there is also this type of, all the people he met along the way helped him to propel him towards meeting his son, get to his son. And then what happened was his son, within his fish tank, even though it was a small area, was able to bond with this gang, fish tank gang, and they were able to, working with Nemo, escape the fish tank and get back into this wide ocean. And this working together as a collective, this unity, this interconnectedness, as these different characters, species. There was a turtle, sea turtle, there are fishes, all came together as a whole to cooperate to end up with working towards finding Nemo and uniting this father and son together. So I think that was another important thing to raise here. And then also in finding Nemo, here was, again, at the core of it, going back, I think at the core was love. Love, the love of Marilyn for his son, the love of his son for his father, the love of for people and for the so for the other fishes and the animals and sea creatures, which, I think there was a love that went along, that pulled and propelled persons towards Marilyn, even though he was looking for Nemo, but also Nemo, and that brought all of them together in the end. So, I think it's a reminder of the transformative nature of love in where love transcends physical boundaries.
Indeed. But as spirit guides, it provides the resources that we need to propel us along this journey.
Yes. Yes, that's an excellent point. Excellent point. Because that would, all the people who Marilyn needed to be successful to get to Nemo or to help him find his son came along his pathway. Yes, that's an excellent point. Were you finished making that point? Sorry.
Basically, I think you have taken it along.
Sorry.
No, you've done, because we could get distracted by the things we meet on our journey, but in this parable, if you will, Marilyn is so focused on his goal. He's so propelled by love that he has no time to really see anything else, nor to encounter anything else but loving, supportive help that help him to achieve his goal. And likewise, that's his son also had the same kind of was propelled by the same kind of emotion, and the two just had to meet because love has to meet love where love is.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And it reminds us of, when we're treating, to be more specific and to be focused, the thought behind, the law or the love, it is perfect. And so, it manifests exactly what you put into it. And so that focus is important. Sometimes we're not focused. We have many things, coming at us. We're many thoughts. We're not sure where we want to go. There's a lot of uncertainty. Where there can be uncertainty, you can treat for right action, divine order, or divine inspiration or light. But it's important to focus, and as and what we put into law is what we experience within our own lives. And so it's important to always remember that. I think that's, these are some of the things that come out of the movie. Of course, these are our interpretation. Many of us who may have watched this movie, I'm not going to ask anyone to show their hands or to call anyone out tonight. But I'm a person, even as an adult, I love watching my animated movies. They usually have a lot of messages that I get from it. So me personally, I'm into a lot of these movies and some of the messages that reinforce the teachings and life, and how life is, and how to live. So for me, this movie, Finding Nemo, again jumped into mind and reminded me so much of practitioner Courtney, who, I would say Courtney was a Nemo, perhaps, Nemo. And you know, it was just love and adventure. And I think that's something that stood out. So yes,
Yeah, I say, you know,
personally,
Courtney, I always thought that I had this feeling about Courtney that what, despite what people might have been thinking or any kind of shall I say treatment that he was meted to him at in any situation, whether it was a word that somebody said or some kind of thing. Courtney did not take it on board. He never had, I don't think he had one, it just, whatever it was, it passed. And in the next moment, he was moving along lovingly. We might not have thought so, but Courtney used to call me at all hours of the night. And sometimes I would really get mad with him. And he would just say to me, well, you don't have to get mad with me, you know, but so on, so on, so on. So it doesn't, we will talk about it again tomorrow. And usually it was some sort of thing that he had a contrary view to what other people thought. And he wanted to drive home his point. And I thought, he probably thought I was a receptive ear. And so, you know, I will miss him, but I've learned so many lessons from him that I keep mulling them over in my head. But the foremost one is that he never had, and I'll put it this way, he never had a malicious bone in him.
yes.
He knew
And
love.
so,
Mhm.
yes. And so this is the character Nemo. While his father's looking for him, he was making friends in the fish tank, and they were looking at ways to get him out of this fish tank. And they bonded. He found new friends and bonded. And so, you know, that reminded me a lot of Courtney. And even though he was getting into the love that Nemo attracted all of these people to help him to get back home as well. They were in the fish tank for a long time, and Nemo came about and helped them to move out of this fish tank. So, you know, this story of finding Nemo at its center again is around the power of love. So it emphasizes the importance of love and connection as a fundamental aspect of spiritual growth and well-being. And Marlin's unwavering love for his son and his determination to reunite with him exemplify our principles. So if we go to some quotes here from Ernest Holmes, again, this, you know, is something that comes out in a movie. And, you know, so this quote here says, love is the greatest of all healing agencies. Love creates confidence. Confidence gives self-assurance based on the power greater than we are. And self-assurance is necessary to any successful life. So that's one quote. And then there's another one that says, but love is also forgiveness. So Marlin needed to forgive his son for disobeying him. That was part of it. So love overlooks the little differences that we have and finds a point of reconciliation with others. Love creates tolerance and human understanding, without which we become really divided amongst ourselves, and without which we almost unconsciously become filled with criticism, condemnation, and false judgment. All of that could have been Marlin's experience, but that was not how his consciousness and the love for his son and desire to reunite with his son was. So he forgave his son who actually disobeyed him in this sense, and, you know, was more focused on the positive aspect. So another quote I want to share is that knowing the law of God is a law of love and of liberty. We are seeing freedom and joy and happiness and peace and wholeness in everything we look at. And I think with Marilyn, one of the things that probably helped him overcome his fear and all the obstacles as he went through, he was propelled into this. It was divine right action, his spiritual growth, this moving through the ocean, this consciousness as he was looking for Nemo. He evolved in terms of finding freedom from himself for his own self, moving beyond this fear as he looked for his son, but also found love along the way with all the persons he met, including Dory, who was quite different from his more carefree in terms of his personality. So we're responding to the divine calm that's within the center of everything, and knowing that perfect love casts out all our fears. We're strong, confident, because we know the love of God goes with us and prepares the way before us. So the key of this perfection is knowing that love is at the center. So love is another quote, love is the victor in every case. Love breaks down iron bars of thought, shatters the walls of material beliefs. And in this case, that's what the movie shared in terms of Marilyn in his journey. Love is a language which is universal, interpreted through every living soul and understood by all. And this movie was about fishes, it was about sea creatures, but we related to this as humans and their experience and their journey throughout. Fear was something that they did overcome in the movie, and especially fear was what probably happened why Marilyn lost all these other eggs and was left with this one egg, where that fish had been injured. So love will find the solution to every problem, will answer every question, will ultimately vanquish every foe. Love begets tolerance, tolerance begets understanding, and understanding which is able to put itself in another person's place. Is another quote. And so this movie, again, reminds us of the power of love, what we can do to overcome our own fears by really having love at the center of all our actions. And so, again, this reminds me of Courtney Johnson, who I've dedicated this session to, who was all about love and embraced love and embraced the life. And so I just want to leave you with that thought, that let us continue to have love be the center of our experience and our thoughts and the expression of ourselves. And we are knowing we are the perfect expressions of God, and we are love expressed. Thank you for listening to this part of the session. We'll now invite persons for treatment. So, as we go to this section, we're going to invite persons who would like a treatment. And I got one request on Sunday, and I'm doing something very different because I got this request on Sunday, and I'm not sure if the person was able to log on onto YouTube, but they did ask for this request and a treatment for consciousness of light for Nadine. So I'm noting Nadine and I'm looking in the chat. Let us see. I see a comment. Hope says, the staff at Cafe Blue would like to be informed of Courtney's memorial service. They said he kept their company until closing time. We will certainly let them know. I used to see Courtney all the time. That was also a stomping ground for me there. I see Yvonne Chang Oliver says, right, Courtney was very, his faith was unwavering. Thank you. Yvonne. Anyone has a treatment, or I can start with this treatment for light and for consciousness of light for Nadine.
Can include me in that, please, Tamu.
Okay, all right,
Expanding consciousness.
all right. Anyone else? Okay, so
I actually was typing mine, but I'll just
Yeah.
state it. That's faster.
Right.
This is Reverend Michelle. If you could treat for my son Sharif, he has a big opportunity, and it has to be approved by the planning board in Dallas, Texas. If it goes through, he's able to build a huge development. So
Okay, so would we treat for for consciousness or right action?
and also for reasonable city planners, objective,
Okay,
everybody involved.
okay, okay. All right. So and there's a treatment for right action for Jennifer. Okay. Williams. Okay, let me start. So as we're knowing God's presence, God, the one source, omnipresent, God of light, we're knowing that Nadine is this one light source, unified with this light. Light shines on Nadine's life, illuminating every aspect of her life, illuminating the path, creating the love and light that Nadine experiences through her family connections, through her relationships, wherever she is. This light follows her. This light burns bright, knowing that she is the divine expression of God in action. And so we are knowing that this light continues to burn bright. And we release this knowing that this is so, and so it is. And so we now treat for a consciousness of right action for Sharif. We're knowing God.
Carol Campbell.
Huh?
And for Carol Campbell.
And for Carol, right action for Carol Campbell as well. So we're knowing the consciousness of right action for Sharif and for treatment for Carol Campbell. So we're knowing that God, infinite source, all knowing, we're knowing that Sharif and Carol are one with this source of right action, knowing for Sharif that all his desires, all his affairs, we're knowing that anyone who has any role in his decision or deciding on Sharif's experience and abundance and opportunity, the door is thrown wide open, unfolding, and many doors continue to unfold. And I see we're knowing for Sharif that infinite God, right action, every door that opens is the door to Sharif's opportunity that unfolds. And we're knowing Carol, right action operates in all her decisions, in every aspect of her life, an area of her life. Because for Sharif and Carol, they are God, children of God, unfolding, all-knowing. And so we're knowing the light, this right action of God is their experience. And any doubt or fear is cast away and omitted because we are knowing that everything is already done as it should in their lives. And we release this to the law of mind for action, knowing that this is so, and so it is. And so we have a treatment for consciousness of right, I'll do light and then right action, light again for Sandra, and then right action for Jennifer. This is a consciousness, this is a treatment for consciousness of light for Sandra. We're knowing that God, the light, one source, operates in and through Sandra and illuminates that pathway to all her desires and all her needs. Lights up like the sun in the sky, shines that pathway towards her expressing her highest self, her highest expression of life for all areas of her life, relationship, work, all aspects of her life as God unfolds and the light of God shines and illuminates as everyone whom she comes in contact with illuminates and shares this light through her interconnectedness. And so I'm knowing for Sandra that all is well, and we release this to the law of mind for action, knowing and anchoring that this is so, and so it is. And so our next treatment is a treatment for Jennifer Williams for right action. So this is a treatment for consciousness of right action for Jennifer Williams. God, the one source, omnipresent, omniscient, all-knowing. Jennifer taps into and is an unfoldment of this one source, and one with this one source. Every decision that Jennifer makes, every opportunity is an unfoldment of her divine purpose, her divine spiritual growth and expression as Jennifer, the divine. And we're knowing each area of her life, whether it be a decision to buy or purchase a new house, to pay her bills, whatever aspect of her affairs comes from the divine. And so that right action, there are no wrong decisions. There are only the decisions propelling her towards the expression and experiencing her divine abundance and good, which we know she already has. And so, as we're knowing for her, this wisdom, that expresses as her is perfect. We're knowing as we release Sister Love Mind for Action that this is so, and so it is.
And so it is.
I think that would be my last treatment. Is there another treatment? We have another treatment. No further requests for treatments. Anyone online? YouTube?
No requests.
Dance?
No request.
Okay. So namaste. I know as we take a deep breath, we will now go into, oh, I see one. We have one treatment, a treatment of health for Shernet. So this is for a consciousness for treatment of health for Shernet. We're knowing that God, the one source, infinite source, is health. Shernet is this outpicturing of health and one with this one source, which is God. We're knowing every atom, every molecule, every organ, every aspect of Shernet operates at its optimal. We're knowing it's perfect, in harmony, in balance. We're knowing that any ailment, any disbalance is already in balance because this one source temple, this divine temple, Shernet, her divine body outpictures all that is perfection itself. And we're knowing that any ailment is already taken care of, is healed as Shernet, her out body, it operates in harmony and continues to heal. We're knowing that this perfect temple of Shernet operates in harmony, and we are knowing as Shernet unfolds health continues to unfold in abundance, and all ailments are cured or covered or are in harmony. We're knowing that all is well with Shernet's health. And so as she expresses this divine source of God through and every aspect of her life, she is healed and well. And we release this to law of mind for action, knowing that this is so, and so it is. So that was our last treatment. We will now go to the announcement. And thank you, everyone. We're knowing the divine presence is with us today, and so is Courtney in spirit. Are you allowing me to share? Sorry, Vance, may I share my screen at this time? Can you please allow me to share? Thank you. Sorry, Vance, I'm unable to share. Okay, great. Thank you. I can share now. Great. So, as we go through our announcements tonight, I'm going to remind us that you can join us this week for quiet moments in the garden with Reverend John Scott on Mondays to Wednesdays and Fridays and at 6 a.m. for quiet moments in the garden. We also have Noon Bites, and Noon Bites is Mondays to Fridays at noon with our dear Reverend Anne. So it's a midday boost for the soul. We also have this week's Prayer Power, which is on Thursday at 6 p.m., 5 p.m. on the last Thursdays of the month. So come and be lifted up by the transformative power of God's love, light, peace, and joy. We also have Reverend Sonny Davidson, Steve Golding, and Vance Gardner on this exciting journey of renewing the mind and transforming the soul on Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m., starting at 7 p.m. And they will be looking at what is the meaning of the parable of the sower. So join them for this exciting Science of the Mind class on Thursday evenings. We also have our annual masterclass retreat, and our featured speaker is none other than Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones. Demonstrate a life filled with purpose and meaning. Come and have fun and vision how. Only not far away. It's just around the corner, October 27th to 29th, 2023, and there is space available for you. Please register. For more information, you may also call the Temple of Light. Treat yourself to this retreat. Join us every Sunday, and this week's Sunday service, as usual, will be held at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have, of course, every Tuesday, our Spiritual Mind Healing Service at 6 p.m. So join us again for this service. So if you feel moved to support our ministry, please feel free to donate at donate.templeoflightcsl.org. Thank you for your generosity and for helping us to be a beacon of light for the world. Now, join us as we say our treatment for financial affairs and love offering. Repeat after me. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive. Be thou fruitful, increase and multiply. Bless, prosper, and enrich everyone whom you touch, and replenish all of my financial affairs. Thank you, Father, and so it is. We'll now say the prayer of our center. The Temple of Light, Center for Spiritual Living, is a sacred field embodying our spiritual community from which the Christ, peace, love, and joy emanate. To touch, to heal, to bless, to prosper, and to liberate anyone who comes in contact with it in any way. The light of Christ illumines us, our center, and our environment. Our spiritual community is filled with and surrounded by the presence of God and is growing from strength to strength. The power of God expands our consciousness of truth, guiding us ceaselessly along the paths of wisdom, spiritual growth, unfoldment, and attainment. We are blessed, and to God be the honor and glory forever. And so it is. Amen. We'll now say the prayer of Jamaica. The radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love now completely fills, covers, and surrounds our island, Jamaica. The glowing intensity of the light of God's love now interpenetrates and awakens within hearts and minds of our countrymen and women the truths of life which set free. The light of God's love is growing and glowing in intensity in the hearts and minds of mankind everywhere. Love, health, harmony, goodwill, peace, uprightness, integrity, joy, prosperity, kindness, and our oneness under God are now established, and so it is. So thank you for joining us this evening. And at this time, I will say the closing treatment for this evening. So wherever you are, I invite you to listen. If you can close your eyes, sit still and take a deep breath. And so we're knowing God, the infinite source, the abundant source of all, that's everywhere, all present. Love, light, the power of love. We're knowing we're one with this one source. We are love expressed. And as we go tonight, we continue to illuminate this love, express this love. Anyone who comes in contact with us feels this love. And this love spreads and illuminates in all our environments. And so as we take this consciousness of love, we also take the consciousness and love and legacy left by our dear Courtney, where knowing love was who embodied love as he made his transition. And so we're knowing that the love of God is the law of God. And as expressions of this love, we know we continue to illuminate and light the way for all. And so let us release this to the law of mind for action, knowing that this is so, and so it is. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening. And as they say in Jamaican parlance, walk good and walk in love. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamu.
Thanks, Tamu.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Namu.
Later.
Thank you. Really enjoyed
See you in
that.
a
Thank
few.
you.
Thank you.
I sent you a message in the chat, Tamu.
Okay.
Oh.
And it is done.